Hello, Horizon families. My name is Miss Sanborn, and I'm one of the third grade teachers at Horizon. The teachers in third grade are Miss Anderson, Miss Gill, myself, and Miss Truax. Thanks for watching our video about homework and multiplication division practice. So each teacher in our grade level has slightly different expectations for homework. We do homework routines a little bit different. Some of us do it every day, some do 4 days a week, some do 2 days a week. So for more information, please contact your child's teacher during your parent-teacher conference. Generally, we give the homework after we finish the lesson. So with each lesson that we teach, there's an accompanied homework that goes with it. We send that home to be completed and returned, hopefully the next day. We expect students to just try their best. If they don't know the answer to every question, that's okay. We just want them to try to help them reinforce what they're learning at school at home. A lot of times kids might say, this is too hard, or I don't remember. So here are some tips to help them. If your student is struggling and they feel overwhelmed and homework is just not feeling successful for the night, go ahead and just circle every other problem for them to complete. Lightening the workload can really ease some of that anxiety and help the homework go smoother for the rest of the night. I would much rather have them do half the problems than none of the problems at all. I also should suggest that you use a whiteboard and marker to do the work for the homework problems. It can add a little bit more fun to solving the math problems, and it also gives them more space to be able to show their work. We always encourage students to draw pictures and use models to help them solve problems, and so there's not a lot of space on the actual homework page. So having a whiteboard and marker or extra pencil and paper can be extremely helpful. Especially for multiplication and division, ask your child what strategies could they use. They have a basket full of strategies that they can use to help them solve multiplication and division. We don't just practice pure memorization. So if they see a problem like 7 times 3, if they don't know it right off the bat, they have a bunch of different things they could do to figure it out. So ask them to show you a strategy instead of just saying, I don't know, I don't remember. We often see a lot of word problems on the homework, which can sometimes be overwhelming, but I always encourage students to draw a picture of the story problem so that they can visualize what's going on in the story. Doing this can really help them understand what the problem is asking them to do, or what operation they need to do to solve. And then lastly, a multiplication table can be super helpful at home. Now, we don't want them to rely heavily on this tool, but if they're struggling, it is a great way for them to get homework done a little bit faster and to make sure that it's actually coming from their own brain. I encourage them to make the multiplication table themselves. Oftentimes, they can fill in most of the table on their own by remembering their count bys. And then you can go in and fill the missing squares with the facts they don't know yet. The homework that we give out has 2 sides to it. The first one is homework, which is all new learning. This goes over what we just learned in class that day or the day before. The back side is the remembering side. So it goes back and tests, or not tests, but it has problems from throughout the whole school year, sometimes going all the way back to September. Sometimes it's more recent activities, but it's trying to do some review for them. Now, the tricky part about this in third grade is that we do our units out of order. And so we do Unit 1, Unit 2, then Unit 4, then Unit 7. And so sometimes the remembering can have problems that they haven't learned yet. So if your child comes across a problem that they don't know or they haven't learned yet, they can always skip it. It's no big deal. There's a bunch of strategies that we teach for multiplication and division, and so here are a couple of them. For example, the problem 3 times 4, we say as 3 groups of 4, and that helps students visualize a picture of 3 groups with 4 in each group. We also know that this is the same thing as 4 plus 4 plus 4, and we call that repeated addition. We know that we could also put this 3 groups of 4 into rows and columns, so we could have 3 rows with 4 in each row, and that would also show 3 times 4. We know that 3 times 4 and 4 times 3 are the same thing. We get the same answer because of the commutative property. So we oftentimes will ask students to write the equality statement. The biggest, most commonly used strategy is going to be count bys. So we teach songs for the kids to memorize the count bys, right? How to count by that number. And they can represent this using a number line and trying to remember which count by comes next. So for this one, they might count by 4s and say 4, 8, 12. When division problems come up, it's super important to remind them that it's all related. Multiplication and division are related. We talk a lot about fact families and how 12 divided by 4 equals 3 can be solved by flipping it to multiplication. 4 times something equals 12, and that can help them find the missing factor. Sent home with you during conferences is an activity. So there's 3 pieces to it. The first piece is the white piece of paper that has the multiplication strategies practice printed on it. And on the back side, there is an example. So if they forget what they're supposed to do, they can look at the example to help them. They should put it inside of the plastic sheet protector. That way they can use it kind of like a whiteboard or an activity mat, and they can use the whiteboard marker included to be able to use this sheet over and over again. It's great practice for at home. So I hope that you're able to try it out with your student and they can have some fun practicing their math facts over the Thanksgiving break.
Hello, Horizon families. My name is Mrs. Mensah, and I'm your elementary support specialist or school social worker. I want to share a few brief tips on how you can support your student be more successful with homework. Number 1, find a bright, clear spot in your home where your student can complete homework daily. This could be around your dining table or kitchen table or a computer desk anywhere in your home. Finding a consistent space will help your students respond well to the routine of homework completion. Tip number 2, parents, it is okay to take a break when your student is struggling or gets stuck after you've offered or tried to help. Remember, homework is an opportunity for your student to practice what they are already learning in school, and it does not have to end in tears. You are there to support them do the best they can. Number 3, so when your student needs to take a break, here's a quick mindful exercise you can help them do to keep them grounded and focused again. Remind them to pause and think or visualize a time when they did something they were proud of or you were proud of them for. So it could be a time when they scored a goal on their sports team, or a time when they scored a really high mark on that math test, or it could be when they completed a speed run in Minecraft. Reminders about those proud moments will help your students feel encouraged and confident that they can also complete homework and be successful at it. They just might need a little more practice. And parents, you got this. Thanks, and I hope these tips are helpful. Thanks for watching.
All right, Jace is going to show us how to do this activity. So first he's going to pull out his multiplication strategies paper and the plastic folder that it goes in. He's going to put it inside so that way he can use it with a dry erase marker. Now Jace is going to use his whiteboard marker and he's going to complete the blank side of his multiplication strategy. So first he's going to start by writing an equation that he wants to show. Then to solve the problem, he's going to start by doing an equal groups drawing. Jace knows that 5 times 3 is the same thing as 5 groups of 3. So he's going to make 5 groups and put 3 dots in each one. Next, he's going to draw this as an array, which is a picture of rows and columns. So he knows that an array is 5 rows of 3 dots. Alright, next he's going to write this as repeated addition, because we know that we can also represent multiplication as adding repeatedly. Alright, so Jace knows that this is the same thing as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And then he's going to use his skip counting skills to do count bys. So he's going to count by 3s. And now he knows the product to his multiplication equation, so he's going to finish writing that. And there we go. He showed all of his multiplication strategies. So this is really, really great practice for modeling the different strategies we use for multiplication.